Okay, here's part 3. If you can't hear me that well, it's because y'all are talking too much in the background. Alright, first one on section 3, simplify the following. If you have a minus sign, make sure you're distributing it. So I'm going to have 8 plus 6i plus 5 minus 3i. And then make sure you combine things like terms. So 8 and 5. And then 6 minus 3i, so then we have plus 3i. Bada bing, bada boom. Simple as that. When you have addition, you just need to combine things so we can combine like terms. So 5 and 7, and then 5i minus 4i, so 5 plus 7 is 12. And then 5i minus 4i is 1i. Or just, that works as well. Alright, now we got foiling, so multiplying, so make sure you do those. So I got 4 times 5, so 20 minus 20i, and then minus 25i plus 25i squared. I'm just checking my work. Okay, sounds good to me. I'm going to combine those middle terms, so I get negative 45i. And don't forget, the biggest thing with this section is I squared turns into negative 1. And so I'm going to have 20 minus 45i minus 25. And so I should get negative 45 minus 45i. And I'm just sitting here triple checking my work. Negative 20 minus 25. Yes. Oops, my math is wrong. 20 minus 25. Good thing we're checking, right? 20 minus 25, that should be negative 5. There we go. Sorry about that. Alright, next up is when we have division. So when we have division, we have to take the bottom and multiply the top and bottom by the conjugate, which means the opposite. So I'm going to go 3 plus 2i. Make sure you foil. We're going to have to do a lot of foiling on that bottom. So I'm going to get 9i plus 6i squared on the top. Then I'm going to get 9 plus 6i minus 6i minus 4i squared. Alright, my top 9i plus 6 times negative 1. And then I have 9 minus 4 times negative 1. So I get 9i minus 6 on the top. And that's 9 plus 4 now. So 13. Bada bing, bada boom. And I'm going to just sit here and kind of check my math since I'm doing it and talking. God, you guys are loud. 9i, 6i squared. 9, 6i, minus 6i, minus 4i squared, plus 4. Looks pretty good to me. Alright, and that's that first section. Alright, next up we have our quadratic section. You can choose if it can factor it, or quadratic. So, first one, let's see. So I'll try to do both for us, but we got to find our axis of symmetry and vertex first. So vertex, that is where we have, I'm going to write it right here. Vertex, that's where we have negative b over 2a. So, and then we plug in. So my vertex for x is negative 1, b is 2, c is 3. Okay. So negative 2 over 2 times negative 1, which gives me negative 2 over negative 2, so 1. So then equals negative 1 plus 2, 2, 1, 3, 4. I'm going to triple check my math because sometimes might as well, right? That's what you guys should do on your final too. Don't trust your brain, trust the calculator. Check your work. 4 And I'm being crazy. I'm gonna even check this on my calculator with graphing. So I'm gonna have negative x squared plus 2x plus 3 graph. A way you could check your vertex on your graph. So if I graph this on my calculator, right? And I hit the graph button and I see my little parabola. Good thing to check to help you with your graphing on the right there as well. To find your vertex on your calculator, if you hit the second and trace, you're gonna see value, 0, minimum, maximum. So it is a maximum. Have it on the left side, move your arrow, enter on the right, enter again. Maximum 1, 4. It's giving us this crazy decimal approximation, but we got 1, 4. So here's my vertex, 1, 4. X is the symmetry, it's just your x value. And this is a max. I know it's a max because I have a negative in front, which means it's a sad face. And then I'm gonna give, since I have a calculator, I can see something like this is what I'm looking for. So I have 1, 4. All right, domain. Since I'm looking right here, domain is all real numbers. For all quadratics, this should be an easy question to get right. Range, lowest number down here, that's negative infinity to top number. Range, we look at our y value, so it's going to be 4. All right, now we have our zeros. So if I'm factoring, a fun fact with factoring, remember we can't have a negative for a, so I got to take a negative out. And then I'm going to have everything on the inside be opposite. So multiply a times c, so negative 3. Factors of negative 3, they're going to add to negative 2. 3 only has 1 and 2. 1 and 2, God, Miss Morel. I'm like, what the heck? It's not working. 1 and 3. I need to add it to negative 2, so I'm going to have negative 3 and positive 1. And that's going to give me negative x plus 1. X minus 3 equal to 0. And then you take each one, set it equal to 0.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Any chance know where to find the final exam answer key?
Not yet, because I'm working on it.
Oh!
I'm almost done. That's what I'm recording right now for us. So then my zeros are negative 1 and 3. That should be here, negative 1 and 3. Boom. And that's what we need to do on each one of these questions. You can also check your zeros on your calculator. So that same way you hit the blue in calc, you hit 0. Left bound, so make sure you're on the left side of where it crosses, and the right bound, you're on the right side. Hit enter, negative 1, good. Same thing again, second calc, 0. Left bound, so make sure you're on the left side of the other 0. Scroll it over to the right, hit enter, 3, and we are good. All right, next one. Minus 12x. I'm gonna do quadratic formula on this one. All right, now I'm gotta find my vertex. A is 2, B is negative 12, C is 16. So x equals 12 over 2 times 2. So 12 over 4, 3, and then plug it in.
It's like iconic.
All right, let's see. I'm gonna check this both ways.
Well, it's an iconic photo of you. Because I was
I'm getting negative 2, and I'm gonna actually go ahead and graph this as well. So I got 2x squared minus 12x plus 16. I need to plug in my iPad. I'm gonna hit graph. All right, I can use that to graph it. I have an idea. Find your that. So it's gonna be a minimum. And second trace. And then minimum. Have it on the left side of it. Have it on the right side. Hit enter. 3, -2. Perfecto. So we got our vertex. I have my axis of symmetry. I know my domain, my range. So here's my vertex, 3, -2. So my range is from, that should be a bracket up there, -2 to infinity. All right, and then I got from my 0. So this one I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do quadratic formula. So x equals -b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, so I have, I'm gonna do that inside first. So negative parentheses -12 squared minus 4 times 2 times 16 to get 12 plus or minus square root of 16 over 4. So I'm gonna have 12 plus square root of 16, aka 4, and I'm gonna have 12 minus square root of 16 over 4. So 12 plus 4
Times 12 by 20
is 16 in my brain. Divided by 4, so I should have 4. 12 minus 4 is 8 and 2. And I'm gonna check that on my calculator. So again, second trace, 0. Make sure it's on the left side of 1. Right side, 2, good. And then second trace, 0, left side, boom, 4, good. So I have 2, 0, and then I have 4, 0. 2 and 4. You could also, should be able to factor that as well. Yeah. All right, we got one more of these. And it's the same as the one above. Oops. Sorry. Same as A. Okay, same concept as we would do. All right, here's our other last couple ones. We have them in vertex form. So remember, our vertex is opposite of inside.
I remember that.
Please don't die, pen.
Just like
So
jaw drop.
2 and then outside. So axis of symmetry is at 2. Vertex is at 2, -1. Domain all real numbers. You can also graph this. So I'm gonna graph it so I don't have to find my zeros to have a rough sketch yet. So I have x minus 2 squared minus 1. I'm glad you guys are listening to me just talk out loud. Okay. Rough sketch. Boop, boop, boop. 2, -1. So my range, lowest, -1 to infinity. And it is a min. All right, 0. So here's the process on these ones. You have to set it equal to 0. Then we're gonna get or inside or parentheses alone. Once we get here, we're gonna take the square root of both sides. Once you take the square root, I'm gonna have square root of 1 and equals x minus 2, and I'm gonna have -1, square root of 1, x minus 2. Square root of 1 is just 1. So 1 equals x minus 2, and -1 equals x minus 2. Add 2 over, x equals 3. Add 2 over, x equals 1. That should be my zeros, 1 and 3. I can check that again. So second trace, you'll see it's a blue little calc button. 0. You basically want your dots to be in between, like squishing your 0. So when it says left, make sure boom, boom, the 2 lines are squishing. 1, good. Same thing, 0, squishing that in between. And 3, yay! So we have 1, 0, 3, 0. All right, last one, our vertex is -2, 4. So the axis of symmetry.
Man, my house went from 10s
And it's gonna be a min because that number is 3 in front. Domain, Yes. Yes, let me just finish this last question for us. So again, I'm plugging this into my calculator so I can see the graph.
So like you said 4,000.
All right, -2, 4. And my range lowest value is 4 to infinity. All right, from my picture, I can tell that I'm gonna have no real solutions because it doesn't ever touch here. I'm gonna go ahead and solve it, and when I solve this, I should get I involved. So set it equal to 0. And then solving for that. I already know I'm gonna get a 0 because I have a negative number right here. Divide by 3. So I have -4/3 equals x plus 2 squared. I'm gonna have to take the square root. So when I take the square root, I'm gonna have I square root 4/3 equals x plus 2. Then I have negative I 4/3 equals x plus 2 minus 2 minus 2 minus 2 minus 2. So technically my zeros here are I square root 4/3 minus 2 and negative I square root 4/3 minus 2. And that completes our section 3. I would expect on your final C to be something like B, where you have to move something over first in order to solve. And yeah.